accelerant for the Great Reset, a chance for the globalists to rebuild our entire world from the ground up and create their new world order out of chaos. The Great Reset is designed to bring about a fourth industrial revolution. For more on that, check out my previous video called The Great Reset and the Man Behind the Curtain, which is about the founder of the World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, and I was reading from an article on Winter Oak. Very good article, well worth a read. You can visit the World Economic Forum website or their YouTube channel to find out more about the Great Reset and the Fourth Industrial Revolution for yourself. They've got plenty of videos on both subjects over there.
Now is the historical moment, the time, not only to fight severe virus, but to shape the system.
Shape the system?
We have a unique but rapidly shrinking window of opportunity to learn lessons and reset ourselves on a more sustainable path. It is an opportunity we have never had before and may never have again. So we must use all the levers we have at our disposal, knowing that each and every one of us has a vital role to play.
Now is the time to think what history would say about this crisis. And now is the time for all of us to define our own role. What is it that would make it so that history would look at this crisis as the great opportunity for reset?
The Great Reset is a welcome recognition that this human tragedy must be a wake-up call. It is imperative that we reimagine, rebuild, redesign, reinvigorate, and rebalance our world. Rebalancing investment, harnessing science and technology, and advancing the transition to net zero emissions, all elements of the Great Reset, are fundamental to building the future we need.
The future we need. Well, isn't it so convenient then that the COVID virus that is now no worse than a seasonal influenza came along to give you an excuse to push through global plans that you've wanted to pursue for years? Especially when, in his book from 2018, Shaping the Fourth Industrial Revolution, Klaus Schwab says, public-private data sharing agreements that break glass in case of emergency. These come into play only under pre-agreed emergency circumstances such as a pandemic and can help reduce delays and improve the coordination of first responders, temporarily allowing data sharing that would be illegal under normal circumstances. And wouldn't you know it, a convenient pandemic came out of nowhere just 2 years later. Now, I see this person is from the IMF, and that's a good segue because I wanted to talk about the IMF. Because apparently the IMF and the World Bank wanted President Alexander Lukashenko of Belarus to place draconian restrictions on his people, including lockdowns, curfews, and to crash his economy. A bit like other countries have. In exchange, the government would be paid $940 million. He declined. By the way, for full confirmation, this is from Belta, which is the Belarus national broadcasting website. Belarus president unwilling to accept additional terms to get foreign loans. Minsk, 19th of June. Additional conditions which do not apply to the financial part are unacceptable for Belarus. Belarus President Alexander Lukashenko said when speaking about external lending during a meeting to discuss support measures for the real economic sector on the part of the banking system, Belta has learned. Alexander Lukashenko asked the participants of the meeting how things were with the provision of foreign credit assistance to Belarus. What are our partners' requirements? It was announced that they can provide Belarus with $940 million in so-called rapid financing. How are things here? The head of state inquired. At the same time, he stressed that additional conditions, which do not apply to the financial part, are unacceptable for the country. We hear the demands. For example, to model our coronavirus response on that of Italy. I do not want to see the Italian situation to repeat in Belarus. We have our own country and our own situation, the president said. According to the president, the World Bank has showed interest in Belarus coronavirus response practices. It is ready to fund us 10 times more than it offered initially as a token of commendation for our efficient fight against the virus. The World Bank has even asked the Healthcare Ministry to share the experience. Meanwhile, the IMF continues to demand from us quarantine measures, isolation, a curfew. This is nonsense. We will not dance to anyone's tune, said the president. So, one has to wonder if so many of the governments around the world that are enforcing lockdowns, curfews and economic destruction on their nations are in fact doing so because they took bribes? I don't know. It's an interesting question to ask, isn't it? You know what else is really coincidental? The World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab have been going on and on about the Fourth Industrial Revolution for a while now. But do you know who else has previously talked about it? Matt Hancock, Secretary of State for Health and Social Care in Britain, and the man pushing the COVID-19 police state on the British public through pseudoscience and scaremongering. I recently found the following article from gov.uk, an official UK government website. It reads, "The Fourth Industrial Revolution." It's from the 16th of October 2017. Minister for Digital, Matt Hancock, addresses the all-party parliamentary group on the Fourth Industrial Revolution's autumn reception. Now, keep in mind, at the time, Matt Hancock was Minister of State for Digital and Culture. I'm going to read a few excerpts from his address. So, he said, "And I'm delighted to speak alongside so many impressive colleagues who really understand this, and alongside Professor Klaus Schwab, who literally wrote the book on the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Your work, bringing together, as you do, all the best minds on the planet, has informed what we are doing, and I'm delighted to work with you. For the first